guys, it's Sherry. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. Y'all, let's make something pretty with scraps. Stay tuned. Welcome to my channel. I am so glad that you decided to stop by. Today we are going to do something very quick but very useful, because if you've been crafting with me this week at all, you have some scraps. But before we jump into today's project, thank you to everyone for being here, and thank you guys so much for supporting my channel. I really do appreciate it. So those of you who have been crafting along with me this week might remember this particular print as well as this print. Well, these are scrap pieces that I have left over, and we're going to take those scraps along with some scrap scratch paper, and we're going to turn them into something very useful. Today, we are going to take those scraps and we are going to make some of the cutest little scrap scratch pads. And I'll give you a closer look at these in just a minute, but y'all know what time it is. It's time to make it. All right, so here's some of the scraps that we have left over, and these are just too pretty to not do anything with them. So what I decided to do was to take these scraps and pair them with some scrap white paper that I have. Now, as you can see in this box, I have a whole bunch of different sizes. So when I'm making notebooks, generally what I'll do is I will take my leftover paper scraps and just put them in a box like this and just store them until I'm ready to use them on a scrap project. So I went into this box, grabbed a couple of sizes, and that's what we're going to use today. So this truly is going to be some scrap crafting, because I didn't go into the box looking for an intentional size. I just went into the box and grabbed some paper that I can then turn into these cute little scratch pads. And I made 2 of them in different sizes, and we're going to make another 2, and I'll show you the process. And this is going to be another process craft and not necessarily a craft that I'm going to give you exact measurements, because your scraps might be different. But I am going to bring these a little bit closer because I'm using some of my Tim Holtz metals, and these metals have sayings on them. And this one says, your greatest creation is always going to be your life story. And this one says, remember to keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. And then here at the bottom, I used a few of my Dollar Tree stickers. And I used this particular sticker sheet. And that's what we're going to do again today. We're going to use these stickers to kind of dress up our little scratch pad. So here's what I'm going to be using on today's project. I am going to be using these 2 pieces of scrap. Then I have my paper. I have a lightweight chipboard backer. Remember, you can use cereal boxes, macaroni and cheese boxes, any type of lightweight that you might have. And then we're going to make this size, and I have a backer for that. And as I said earlier, this is not about measurements. This is about how to make your own depending on the size that you have. So we're going to go ahead and first turn these loose pieces into a workable pad. And how many sheets you choose to put on yours is completely up to you, because I'm going to show you how to determine your spine size. So me giving you a number of sheets is not necessary, because you'll know how to figure out your spine size. So I am just going to place this on, and I'm making sure that everything is nice and straight at the top. And then I want my pads to be a tearaway pad. So I am going to take my hot glue, and I'm just going to run some hot glue across the top. Then I'll take a piece of scrap chipboard, and I am going to smooth that glue out across the top, and you'll be able to see that you have glue coverage. So I'm going to let that one dry. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing with that second one. So let's run some glue. We'll use this like a little putty knife, and we'll smooth it out across the top, and you can probably see that sheen on there. That's really all you need on this, and you're going to have a really nice tearaway pad once these are dry. So now I'll take that first one, and I'm just going to tear away the first sheet because I did add an extra sheet that I could sacrifice to clean this up just a little bit. So I'm going to go across the top, get that nice and clean. Then if I need to do the same thing across the back, I'll just go across the back, pull off that excess glue. Now I have pad number 1. We're going to do the same thing with this one. I am just going to tear it away. And you can see that when you're using hot glue, that tear away pad becomes very simple to make. And if I wanted my pads to be non-tear away pads and I wanted them to be permanent, I would use my Reptile glue on this, but I want this to be a tear away, so I am using hot glue. So now that we have these 2 pads, I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. My size is 2 3/4, so you want to make sure that first you measure this piece, and this piece will tell you the size that you need to put on the back. So you just want to make sure that you're cutting out your chipboard backer to either be exact to your white paper or to be about 1/16 of an inch larger than that white paper. So now we have this pad. I am going to put it in my scoreboard, and all I'm doing is trying to determine the width of my spine. So I can see that this is 1/4 of an inch, and I have the scrap piece that is slightly larger than 2 3/4 of an inch wide. The first thing I'm going to do is put it down to make sure that it's going to give me the coverage, and it is. So on mine, I want the fold over top to be 1.5 inches coming down this way. So the first thing I'll do is I'll score at 1.5. Then I know that my spine is 1/4 of an inch wide. So I'm just going to add that 1/4 of an inch and go to 1 3/4. And now I can take this and create that little fold over piece that I'm then going to take and put on the top here. So it'll go on top just like that. So I have already added tape to the back of my chipboard backer. So then I'm going to turn it over like this, and I'm going to turn this over to where it's face up, and I'm going to place it so that I'm placing this part down, and I'm going to push it against the score mark, and then I can fold it over and have a very good fit. I'm going to use my big old spatula to smooth that down. And here is the front of my sweet little tearaway pad. I'm now just going to take my finger blade and trim away the excess. That's how easy it is to make this. So to make it, you're going to need a light colored paper, a piece of chipboard that you're cutting for the back of this, and then your scrap paper. The sizes are all going to be determined by your scrap pieces. So now we're going to take this one, and I'm going to make this one slightly different. So this is 4 inches across, and it is 1/4 of an inch on the spine. So I want to make just a little fold over booklet for this. So here's how I determined how wide my paper needed to be. I am taking the chipboard backer and I'm doubling the width of that. So this is 4 inches and I'm making it 8. So I took the chipboard backer from 4 to 8. That is because I'll need coverage on this side as well as this side. So I'm automatically starting with the piece that needs to be at least 8 inches long. Then I want to make sure that I have a little bit of overhang on each edge because I don't want it to be exact. So to that 8 inches, I am going to add an overhang overage of 1/4 of an inch. So that means I'm now starting with the piece that is at least 8 1/4. But I need to put in that spine, and I'm using 1/4 inch spine. So again, I'm going to add another 1/4 of an inch, and that takes me to 8 1/2. So then when I score, I'm going to score at 4 1/8, rotate, and score at 4 1/8. So why am I scoring at 4 1/8 and not 4? So remember that 1/4 of an inch buffer I built in? Well, I'm going to take that 1/4 of an inch buffer and divide it by 2 and give each side 1/8 of an inch overage. So 4 and then the 1/8, and that's how I'm scoring at 4 1/8, rotate and score at 4 1/8. So then I can take it, fold on that spine, and now we have this sweet little book. And we're going to be able to take this piece, put it on the inside, and we'll have a nice little scratch pad. So I'm going to remove my tape backer, and we'll take this piece and just put it in at the top and fold over. And so now I have this nice little scratch book here and a scratch pad here. So I have some more of my little Tim Holtz metal sayings. I am going to add just a little bit of hot glue to the back, and I'm using the hot glue because it's already out. My Reptile Glue will also hold these. And I'm going to take this one and just put it right there. And I'm going to take this one and put it right here. Now you might be able to find these sayings on Amazon. Mine actually came from Tuesday Morning about 2 years ago, but you might be able to find something similar on Amazon. And this one says, always be on the lookout for the presence of wonder. And then this one gives the definition of creativity. So now we have 2 more pads to add to our collection. I am going to take some of my Dollar Tree stickers, and you can actually go through every page of this if you want and just lay down some stickers. I'm not going to do all of the pages, but I'm just going to do a few to give you an idea so that when you tear these away, you have cuteness on page after page. So then I'll open this one, and I think on this page, I'm actually going to do one here at the top. And one here at the bottom. And then we can go through page after page and just add cute little stickers as I have done here. Completely up to you how you want to do these. So that's the process for making these gorgeous scratch pads using scrap. As you could see from what I showed you earlier, I used scrap white paper and I'm using scrap paper here. So I'm going to bring in the other 2 so that you can see just how gorgeous these are. Y'all saw how easy the process was. Really isn't that difficult to make it in book form. Just follow that formula that I gave you on how to make this book. I hope that formula was helpful. I tried to simplify it as much as I possibly could, but we have some gorgeous scratch pads made from scrap. Guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this. If you have, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join this amazing online crafting family. You guys, as always, please be safe, be kind, happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.